another one coming at you. Pop Radio. Shout outs and thank you for you guys for always supporting, always commenting, sharing and liking. Do they do that?
They do, and they're also subscribing and liking and turning on notifications. We need you. Keep doing that.
Nice one.
Yes.
We're doing it on a different style today because we've got a different kind of guest that's traveling all the way from Germany, Berlin to be here with us here in studio. And we figured in our first segment that we're always talking about new music and new artists you should check out. What better way for you to check out like very, very new music that you might not even understand, but you might catch the vibe of and the cadence. So we're going to be talking about which new artists to holla at, Cosmo.
Yes, all right. So I got a new artist who is not really new school, but just like has been bubbling under for a while, and I hadn't listened to his music in a long time. Goes by the name of Banty. He's from Botswana.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, like I mentioned, he's been in the game, but like now I think he's trying to kind of bring his music back a bit as well. He recently sent me a single called Fantastic Weekend. Very like chilled, but you can hear the lyricism coming through in the song. But I like the vibe, I like the energy, and I like the fact that he's saying, yo, I'm back in the game. This is my music. Please check me out. So, Botswana, he's trying to put you back on the map. Listen to the homie Fantastic Weekend.
Shout outs. And I'm just going to latch onto this German artist here and I'll be ushering in. So let us know.
Does it have to be a German?
It doesn't have to be. Sorry.
Okay.
It does not have to be.
Whoa. Before you switch on over to the German artist, what's her name?
Oh, damn. My bad. Ladies and gentlemen, we're introducing to you German DJ who is now here in SA. Her name is Vanya Langa. And her DJ name is Wanilla NICE. Are you on Instagram as a DJ?
Not as a DJ. I'm just generally on Instagram.
Okay, cool. So Wanilla NICE is the DJ name.
Yes.
And then you do also run this dope-ass account on Instagram.
Yes.
Which one is that? What is it called?
I still love her.de. If you just type in I still love her, you will see me.
No doubt. All right, cool. Now, thank you, Cosmo. Slipping on my
got
hosting
you.
skills,
Good
dog.
catch.
I'll be slipping. So, holla.
I would like to recommend an artist by the name of Remy Banks. He's from the States, super dope. That's all I can say.
Remy Banks.
Yeah.
Type of music, type of vibe.
It kind of reminds me of like 90s New York shit. Like it's gritty, it's kind of dark, but it has a modern feel to it.
No
Dope.
doubt.
Yeah.
Remy Banks, we'll be checking you out. Nigga. And now, time for that interview. What's up, everybody? You know how we do it. It's Pop Radio. We alternate with POPcast on a weekly basis, and we have our guest in studio today, and we're going passport-wise. We are going on an international flight, Namhlanje.
Yes.
Because we have our guest from Germany who is residing in South Africa, going back to Germany pretty soon. And how I found out about this lady, her name is Vanya. What's your surname?
Lange.
Sorry?
Lange.
Lange. Spell it for us.
Lange.
That's crazy. So I found out about her because I was on Explorer and there was this page on the gram. It had a lot of hip hop content. And the first time I saw her kind of content was, if you guys don't know, Dave Chappelle, Mos Def, Yasin Bey, and Talib Kweli have a podcast right now. It's called Magic in the Midnight or something. What is it?
Midnight Miracle.
Midnight Miracle.
Yeah.
And so there was an excerpt from the podcast on this page. I liked it. The page is called I Still Love Her _ de.
.de. I still love her.de.
Showcase.
Yeah.
And then I go on this page. I'm like, there's a lot of clips from a lot of interviews, and it's all about just hip hop. Yeah, hip hop. Then I go see who runs this page, and it was her. Followed her, and then we linked up, and I was like, it'd be great to bring her out here because she was also playing. How long were you here for?
Since November, so 8 months.
And you've been playing during COVID. How's everything been for you so far?
I mean, obviously, it's been a bit difficult with the pandemic. It's not the same as when I was here the first time. But it's still been good, and I was very grateful to be here versus being back home in Germany at this time.
Why is that?
Well, for one, it was winter.
Yeah.
And German winter is pretty it's tough. You don't really want to be there. And also things were on super lockdown. There was definitely no events, nowhere to play, which is very depressing if you love DJing. So yeah, it was nice being here and being able to have a bit of normalcy
No
in that
doubt.
regard.
Coming to South Africa as a DJ, when did you? I mean, I was shocked. I mean, okay, I mean, you know, I'm a black guy who lived in South Africa. I know white people listen to hip hop, but your page was so. What's happening right now in South Africa is that everybody, not everybody, a lot of people who are doing hip hop content, it is hard to tell if they love hip hop. They do hip hop content, it seems like because they want to be famous. You understand?
Yeah.
What I loved about your page is like, it just screams the love of this thing, your research that goes into it, the time you take in having to listen to these interviews and then having to take these clips and give it to us. You know, how much work goes into your post? Like, how do you do that?
I would say I spend 2 hours per day just going.
Per day.
Yeah.
Going?
That's dedication.
Yo.
Jeez.
It's just going through interviews. I mean, sometimes I do it like while I'm doing my skincare routine, I'm listening to these interviews. So I try to multitask so that it won't take up too much time. But yeah, I mean, finding interviews, listening through them thoroughly and fully, and then picking the parts. Also, even coming up with captions is a job in itself.
Yeah.
I feel like I couldn't rap or write songs, but I definitely feel like I am a rapper songwriter in my captions. I love my captions more than my pictures sometimes.
I struggle with captions too, girl. Don't worry. Sometimes I'm just like emoji. That's all you're getting today. Like, no.
Straight up.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, with you putting together this page, there's a lot of very hectic hip hop content that is very current. There's also a lot of like old school stuff as well, which kind of shows that you're well rounded within the hip hop space. Did you always find yourself in this wanting to get into hip hop content the way that it has? Because podcasting is also very recent.
Yes.
It's not like an old medium. You know what I mean? What was it that was attracting you to hip hop prior to podcasting?
Yes.
Well, I've been into hip hop since I was 9 years old. So that was the first time I fell in love with the hip hop song. And after that, I always gravitated towards hip hop music, which of course, I'm 37, so I'm an 80s baby. And at that time, before the internet, in Germany, there wasn't necessarily a whole lot of hip hop on the radio or on TV. So it was a bit difficult to come by, but whenever I would hear hip hop anywhere, I just loved it. And then I got into the elements. Like I started doing graffiti when I was 16. And through graffiti, I really learned that it's a whole culture. It's not just the music. It's a culture with the elements. And then I started rapping.
Oh, you rap too?
I used to. It's a long time ago. Though.
Sure.
I'm not going to.
I was about to ask you for a freestyle.
Nah.
Like, come on, girl. Break it down for us. Let's go.
I'm long retired.
We bombed that one.
But yeah, so from there, it just became deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think I was around 19 when this was kind of when the MySpace era started. And through MySpace, I really kind of found a voice. I started blogging, and that's when I started interviewing artists. So around that time, I got into podcasting, which, of course, at that time was not that popular yet. But I would just interview artists who were on tour in Germany and put it together with some music and just put it out there. And so I think that type of content always was up my lane. Like, I always really enjoyed just hearing from artists.
It's beautiful. Have you lived in another country besides Germany?
Not lived. I've spent a lot of time in the States. It would usually be 3 months at a time. I think I did that for like 7 years, every year. But I never fully moved to another country.
I'm asking obviously because I can kind of hear that coming through in the way that you speak, your accent. And the thing is, I ask intentionally because, you get some South Africans who leave here for like a week, they go on holiday. And then they come back and you're like, and then when
Straight up.
So I thought maybe it's a global thing or maybe it's just a South African thing. But okay, I see you.
In terms of DJing, I mean, we're talking about your content because obviously timeline-wise for us, especially me, that's where I got introduced to you. But you also are a well-versed DJ, not just a content creator.
Yeah.
When did you start playing hip-hop?
Well, I started playing, period, only 2.5 years ago.
That is insane.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I have listened to the set and it's crazy.
Do you scratch? Do you...
I don't scratch. I'm not... I respect that that art form a lot, and I respect it when DJs focus on that. But personally, I didn't find that it was for me. It just didn't really interest me. My main focus is the music and also putting together hip-hop that people don't naturally think to put together. Underground tracks and mainstream stuff. I like to, I feel like there are a lot of hip-hop purists, right, who kind of deprive themselves of a lot of dope music that's in the mainstream. And vice versa, there's a lot of people who are only into mainstream and they don't know there's this whole untapped subgenre of hip-hop. So I love bringing those worlds together just to open people up more to see there's dope shit on the underground and the mainstream. There's dope shit from the 90s to early 2000s to now. There's dope shit everywhere. You just have to be open to it.
Yeah.
2 years ago, what made you do it? Is it because you were going out and finding that the selections are not hitting me, so therefore you wanted to provide that? What made you go, I'm gonna DJ?
I always try to find ways to challenge myself creatively because I feel like I've been working in the hip hop business for I think 15 years now.
Wow.
And I always wanted to work in hip hop because it's my favorite thing in the world. But I find that when you're working in the business in this industry, there's a chance of it becoming a job. So as soon as
One thing I can tell you,
as soon as it becomes a job, and it's not, you don't feel the same passion for it, And I don't ever want it to get to that point, so I always try to find a creative outlet to balance out the business side. And I had thought about DJing, DJing always interested me. When I was 18, I wanted to be a DJ, but at that time, you had to buy real equipment. They didn't have controllers like you have now. And it was very expensive. And then at that time, you also needed to buy records. So it was an investment that I was not able to make as an 18-year-old, So I was rapping instead and doing other things. And throughout the years, I was always a curator with music. I would always put together music to present to people. I had this mixtape series with a DJ from LA. I would put the music together. It was all unknown indie artists, and he would then mix it. So I would always find a way to curate. So the only thing missing was knowing, how to work the equipment basically. And then 3 years ago, it just kept popping into my head, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just try it? Let me buy a really cheap controller.
Yeah.
And just see if I'm into it. And I did that. And then a few months later, a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to DJ her birthday party. It was just at her home, in her living room. I was like, I don't know. I'm not a DJ. She's like, I trust your taste. Just play some dope music. I don't care about anything else.
Compare it on the iPod.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. So I did that. And I think up until that point, I was always freaked out by the idea of doing something in front of a room of people that's looking at you. Because I never, that's the reason why I quit rapping. I had one live show and I quit rapping.
What?
You bombed.
Come on. I was really hoping for you to tell us, like, no, I've been on tour, performed with this person and that person. I was waiting for those stories.
Like, I think for a long time, the thought of just being the center of attention was just really not something I was into. And it scared me. And so that was the one thing that kind of held me back from DJing. But then when I did that birthday party, I was like, you know what? I actually love this. Like, this is fun. And I feel safe and secure in this space because I know that this is something I'm good at. And 2 months later, I had my first, gig, at an event, at a club. And from there on, it was just...
smooth sailing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Obviously, coming from a country in Europe, Germany is very, I don't know, maybe if I say the music scene out there is also very house-centric, EDM-centric, dance music, heavy that side. Similar to what we are here, we're a big house nation. Obviously, hip-hop being a more niche genre that comes through in South Africa, kind of similar with you in Germany as well. How did you find getting that access and getting that appreciation for hip-hop in those spaces, in those pockets? Did you have to kind of look for hip-hop parties like we sometimes had to look for them to actually be very prevalent in South Africa? Or was it a big culture for you when you were growing up?
So I'm not originally from Berlin. I'm from a small city in southwest Germany. It's called Heidelberg. But the city where I'm from actually happens to be the birthplace of German rap.
Dope.
So the very first German rap artists were from there.
Say what?
So in that city, it was very cliquish, but there was definitely a hip-hop scene and a hip-hop culture there. And we did get a lot of artists coming through concerts. There was a very big graffiti scene. There were definitely regular hip-hop jams happening. And then in school, there were definitely other kids that were into hip-hop. I met my producer there who was then producing my music, and it was more difficult, pre-social media to connect, but somehow we made it work. So I think, it was just all about connecting with each other because we all loved the same thing.
I'm so scared to leave my country.
Why?
I mean, as a black guy, I've traveled and I've never felt more at home than in South Africa. Yeah, go to Europe, go to America, go to Asia, you feel black, Yeah. So that's why I've been very reluctant. Even when people were like, yo, dog, you should leave, you gotta go there. I was always like, I've been there, and if my insides are not right, my work is not going to be right, chabo. And when I was talking to you, and now that we're speaking to you as well, and I think it really is easier for white people financially, first of all, and then secondly, because, inverted commas, you guys run the world. So it's always easier for someone who is not black to fit into a society, even if they're not from there. I do like the fact that no matter what, though, you, outside of what I'm saying, you just pick up and go. What is it about you that makes you such a good nomad? You're not afraid to just leave your place and be like, yo, I'm going to go there and do this. I'm going to go there and do this. And also the way you link up with people. There's something in your character that makes it easy for you to do that. What do you attribute it to?
I'm not sure. I just, honestly, I'm a very independent person.
Yeah.
I was raised with just being very independent from being a very small child. Just having to figure shit out on my own. And that's hard as a child, but I think later on it definitely has its advantages because I don't tie my happiness or my comfort to people or to places. So, and I just always have this belief, you know what, I'll figure it out. And that's with everything I do. When I started my business, there was no guarantee it was going to work, but I just felt I'll figure it out. And if it doesn't work, then I'll find a day job. It will be okay.
Dope.
And so I think with traveling, that's been the same for me. because of the work that I do, I can do it from anywhere in the world. I just
Yeah.
need a stable internet connection. And it just hit me like, you know what? You have all this freedom. You're not tied to a place. So why not use that and explore the world and just go different places?
Nice.
And if it doesn't work, then you learn from it. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
How many different countries have you actually gone to experience different types of cultures? Because hip hop in different countries is portrayed in different ways. I mean, we all know it originates from the States, but I mean, in South Africa, we bring in our vernacular type of references. In Nigeria, it's completely different to what it would be in Germany. So, in the different places that you've been to, where has hip hop kind of spoken to you the most?
that's a great question, but also difficult because, like, that's like one thing I really love about like going to different countries is like seeing what did hip hop evolve to, what did they make it into, and I enjoy that very much. But I can't really say. Like I guess like in the States, it's still like very special to me because that's the birthplace, you know, that's where it originated. So I think that will always be, as far as hip hop goes, the most special place to me because that's where it's kind of in its purest form, even though, of course, a lot of people would say otherwise with how it has progressed.
Yeah.
But you can still find the core, you know, you can still see and feel the roots. So I think as far as the hip hop experience goes, it's definitely the States.
Yeah.
How have you found our progression or our take on hip hop here in SA? If you can speak about that, you know?
It's interesting to me but I think it's kind of like that in all countries. Because you always have people who are kind of mimicking American hip hop. And then you have people who take it into their native languages, which I think is really dope. Like, I love hearing hip hop in other languages because even if you don't understand the words, you can pick up on the flow, you can pick up on the cadence, and you can hear if it's good or not. And here, like, I went to the SA the SA Hip Hop Awards in, was that early 2020 or late 2019? I'm not sure. And that was an interesting insight because on that night on stage, you had people like rapping in English. You had people who were very similar to like American style, but then you also had people rapping in Zulu. Like, it was a good insight on the different styles, the different varieties that it has grown into. And I think it's beautiful. I also think it's beautiful that there's a lot of graffiti across the city.
Yeah.
That's really dope. Like, it's dope to see that element also represented. And yeah, I think it's dope.
Have you picked up on any specific artists that you've said, yo, okay, this dude from South Africa, he's definitely the one to kind of take to the world?
So obviously Nasty C already is on his way, you know, with the Def Jam. I really like Shane Eagle a lot. Like, he's so dope to me. And I feel like he also has that appeal where he could go anywhere internationally and do his thing.
Definitely. And he has. He did a tour with Dreamville.
Yeah.
And
And
Bass
he
is
has
about
that
to release his
remix,
solo project, and I'm sure Shane is going to be somehow involved in that solo project.
That would be good.
And then when you travel and you're doing when you're going home now, what are you going to do? We have gigs lined up because are we still going to see the social media content for sure, right? Gigs wise,
Always.
are you playing
Is
at home?
Germany open, by the way, like for events and stuff? Because I can see the rest of the world is starting to slowly open up.
They just opened back up like a couple weeks ago. So since October, it was like super locked down. Everything was closed, like restaurants, bars, like everything, schools. But now, like a couple weeks ago, they opened the bars back up and the clubs also, which the clubs haven't been open since the beginning of the pandemic.
That'll be like last year?
Yeah, March.
The clubs haven't
Or
been open here
February.
since March either. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the places
It's
that
bars.
the
It's
places the
bars.
places that are opened are restaurants and bars. That's
Yeah.
If you've got a club license in South Africa,
Yeah.
you have to close.
I've been to drama, man.
Yeah, but it's a restaurant.
What drama?
It's a restaurant license.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
restaurant license.
Yes, it's according to the
Got
license.
you.
So if you have a club license,
Got you.
if you've got a restaurant and bar license, you
Got
can open
you.
up your doors.
Okay.
That's why a lot of the places can't charge entrance because it's a restaurant, or a bar.
Got you, Kazi. I did not know that.
Yep.
Why South Africa?
I get that question a lot.
I mean, I know why South Africa, but I want to ask you why South Africa, and if we've been good to you.
Okay, first, why? So the first time I came, which was late 2019, honestly, there wasn't a specific reason why here. It was just I was looking for a place I would want to go for 3 months that I've never been. And one of the criteria is I always do some research into the music scene there, into the hip-hop scene there, because I don't want to go a place where there's no hip-hop scene, because it's a major factor for me. So
I don't go to places where you can't smoke weed.
that is also a factor.
Big factor.
Yeah.
Dubai will never smell me. Only when in transit.
Also, Dubai is I don't know.
Yeah,
But
forget
whatever.
about it.
But yeah, I don't know. Somehow South Africa kept popping up, and I do believe in signs. So I was like, okay, maybe. So let me look into that. Then Joburg, actually, it was kind of random. I watched this like super random Netflix movie that was shot in Joburg. I was like, you know what? Let me just look into Joburg.
Whoa. Is that how you choose all your countries? Like, okay, maybe I'm going to Japan next week. How about it?
No, I mean, I do my research. You know, it's also important to me to look at the cost of living because obviously, like, I have to survive. It's not like I'm doing a vacation for 2 weeks. I have to live off of the same amount of money that I live off of at home. So I have to look at the cost of living, you know. And I just did research. I always try to put my feelers out. Do I have connections there? Do I know some people there? Thankfully, because of the way hip hop is set up and how connected I am, I always find some people in places.
Did you know someone here before you moved here?
Yeah. Well, I met a few people in the months prior to me coming here. Like, for example, one person was DJing in Berlin at a spot where I always DJ. So they let me know. They were like, yo, there's a DJ from...
Say his name.
It's Akil.
Sure. I mean, he needs to get his props too, you know?
Yeah, he's the European connect.
Yeah, shout out to
saying.
Akil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they let me know. They were like, yo, there's a DJ going to be here tonight from SA. You should come through and meet him. So, yeah, and that's I'm a big believer in just connecting, you know. You just connect with people, and that's also how you kind of get a feel for a place before you go there, just by talking to
Although
people.
Akil's more Asian Canadian.
We don't know what he is.
American.
Akil's a little bit of everything. If you ever were to sit and ask him, he would give you like 10 different answers.
What's your
That's also
nationality? I'm dope. That's his nationality right there.
All right. So being such a avid traveler, obviously you get to experience different things, which is really awesome. But there comes a time in life, because life must progress. At some point, you also need to get to your next level. Do you ever think you're going to settle down in one place and then say, I'm settling down, I'm going to have some kids, I'm going to do this hip-hop thing from my laptop, but I'm going to breastfeed on the side? You know what I mean?
I have no interest in having kids.
Whoa, really?
Zero.
Say what?
What did the kids do to you?
I just don't, like, I like kids. Like, kids are cool, you know, but I've never had that urge. Never had that desire.
I too never had that urge, but then I had unprotected sex this one night. And now my nigga 10 years old. Damn.
Well.
And here we are.
So don't have unprotected sex
Yeah, no, we shouldn't do that anyway.
at all. But I think it's dope that you can actually verbalize the fact that, and that's another level of first world countryness. Whereas a lady, you can just say, I'm not interested in having babies. Because here it's looked upon as something that's like, not that you can't say it, but it's like, It's just automatic.
Yeah,
I think that's just a society thing. I don't
That's
even think
everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Really?
It's
Everywhere.
everywhere. Because if you watch some of these reality shows, like these Real Housewives of whatever,
Yeah.
they've also still got that old school.
Yeah.
When are you getting married? When are you having kids?
Yeah.
When are we 1, 2, 3? And I just appreciate we're at a space in time where we don't have to be stuck having children, which is probably what's gotten you
Yeah.
that freedom as well.
I mean, it really is everywhere.
Sure.
Like back home, no matter where I am, I always get the same reactions. It's always like, what? Are you sure? Are you going to change your mind? I'm like, I'm 37 fucking years old. I'm not going to change my mind at this point.
Yeah.
And even if I would, it would probably be too late, but I'm not. But I've just gotten to a place where I'm very comfortable with saying it, no matter what the reaction is, because this is how I feel, and that's what that is. And I wish more women would feel safe and okay to say that, because I actually think that a lot more women than we think don't want to have children, but they do it anyway because of the societal pressure.
Yeah. I actually have a few friends who are just like, this thing, it's not going to happen for me.
Yeah.
And you sit and you wonder and you're like, okay, but what about your husband? Because I've got a friend of mine who lives in the UK. Since she got married, she was like, not going to have these kids. And I'm like, but your husband, does he not have a say? She's gone to a point where she's convinced him he doesn't want children.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, do
Job
you,
well
girl?
done.
You know?
I
It
mean,
is what
it's-
it is.
It's definitely a conversation you should have super early on when
Yeah.
you start dating someone. That should be one of the first things, because obviously you're not compatible if you don't agree on that topic. Because it's a
Yeah.
very big topic. Like, I would never want to take that away from someone who really wants that.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's about communication and being open and honest with each other.
You said you were doing a radio show in Germany, no? Where you
a
interviewed
podcast.
A podcast.
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
interviewed a lot of artists that would come and do some tours there.
Yeah.
Can you name a few?
Um,
Whether we know them or not. I mean, just name some.
So this was back in the day. Okay, so one night I interviewed Sugar Hill Gang and oh my God, no, I forgot his name. This is very embarrassing.
Curtis Blow.
Yes.
Those Sugar Hill Gang, especially Curtis Blow, is named the father of hip hop.
Yeah.
So that's how old school it is. Are you a purist or are you a hip hopist?
I'm not a purist at
Okay.
all. Like I was a purist, I would say, when I was like, I don't know, 20, 21, but I let go of that because I just find it very limiting.
Sure.
Um,
So Sugar Hill Gang, Curtis Blow.
yeah, Slum Village a
Ooh.
few times, Black
Have you
Milk.
met? You got a tattoo of Jay Dilla. Have you interviewed him? Met him?
No.
You passed away, no?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Go on. Raz Kaz.
No, I never interviewed
Oh.
Razkaz. He's just someone I know.
Showcase.
Yeah. It's tough for me to even think of these names at this point because it was so long ago.
Why did you stop that podcast then?
It just wasn't in my path anymore, I would say. Like, as things progress, it just wasn't. I just wanted to do something different.
Dope. I was actually about to ask you that now, because obviously looking at the type of stuff that you're interested in, the way music evolves, content evolves, digital media kind of evolves. Where do you kind of see yourself being placed within the culture space in the next couple of years? Because obviously now you're seeing yourself working on a lot of podcasts. You're obviously seeing a lot of trends within where the music is going and how else you would plug yourself in. Podcasting is now no longer your thing. You're just putting it on your social media. What else do you see yourself working in to kind of shift the culture?
My main creative outlet right now is DJing because I've never enjoyed anything more than DJing.
So
really.
it's fun, hey?
Yeah, it's
She's
so
also a
much
DJ.
fun.
It's so much fun.
Oh my God. It's just like, it's my happy place. Like while I'm DJing, I'm just like, like, this is so dope. So I think that I want to grow more as a DJ, and I want to travel the entire world and DJ everywhere. That's my dream. But I also always feel a responsibility of giving back to the culture because it has nourished me so much. And obviously also like knowing like being in this culture and also profiting off of this culture as a white person, I definitely feel responsibility to give back and also to contribute something positive and something that pushes the culture forward. So that's what I try to do that with my Instagram, because the Instagram isn't really, I don't consider that my job.
Yeah.
That's me giving back to the culture, you know?
No doubt.
And like I put a lot of thought into the content that I do share and the messages that I share, because I really just want to put positivity out there, because there's so many there's so many sites on Instagram who focus on like beef and just shit that will rile people up, like, and get them a lot of clicks, but I don't like the emotional
Blackmail, because that's what it is.
yeah, but that's not where I was going, but that's also true. I don't like the place emotionally that it puts the viewers into.
Sure.
You know, like the frequency. So I'm always trying to just have a high frequency to leave people, when they watch a post, I want them to feel
Uplifted.
better.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah, or walk away with some knowledge that they didn't have.
That
but
is what's up.
just positivity.
Shout out, because we try to do that here too.
All the
man.
time, bro.
Yeah.
All the time. My last question, if I can remember it, and I think it has slipped me.
Wow.
No, I was gonna ask
I was
because
okay.
sorry, because in SA, well, in our efforts to profit from the culture, we always talk about how hip hop artists have to be more business savvy. We talk about teams, management, blah blah blah. It's something we haven't focused on for a while, until South African hip hop got so big and they started making so much money, and we realized that we need other people around us in the culture. With you doing so much in terms of your podcasting, social media, playing, traveling, do you have management or a team, or is it all on you?
It's all me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess that also helps when you don't have any kids.
Wow.
You know?
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
All right. So I wanted to ask you, from a music perspective, obviously now you're immersing yourself in the DJ. Have you ever felt the pressure to kind of switch around with the genres?
Honestly, SA inspired me to add a little bit of variety to it that I
Say
didn't
that
have
again?
before.
What happened? Who did?
South Africa inspired me.
Say what?
No, so I always mixed a little. My main focus will always be hip hop, but I always mix like some R&B into it, some dancehall. Also, I really enjoy dancehall. But coming here, I did not like Afro beats before I came here for the first time.
Really?
I didn't at all. Like, friends of mine would send me something, I would be like, no. But then when I came here, it just felt different, because I was like, okay, I get it now. Like, it's just with the vibe. It's different. So I started adding some Afro beats a little bit, but then I also started playing more up-tempo sets. And so the thing is that house here is very different than it is in Germany. Because in Germany, it's more like electronic music is more techno focused, right? And so the house there it tends to be kind of cold.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of
Emotion.
not a lot of
It's like
feeling
you have to be like high on something for you to enjoy
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So for me, electronic music was always like, nah, like I don't like electronic music. But coming here and hearing like local house here and hearing DJs playing house here really opened me up more to it. And then I found ways to play like up-tempo sets where I'm still sticking to hip-hop, but I am at like 120, 130 BPM. And I'm kind of like mixing house into it in a way to where the two just merge beautifully. And that was something I never did before I came here. And even when I came back home last year, like, I played my first set and my friend watched me and she was like, yeah, South Africa really changed you.
Nice, I say. Nice. I just want to add on to that when you said when you when you came here, you kind of like understood the music a bit better, or you kind of appreciated Afro beats and house a bit better. That also happened to me going to America. There are songs that when I would listen to them here at home, I don't like them. But when I land in like an Atlanta, or I'd land in a New York, or an LA, Miami, you know, you really start appreciating this because you are in these people's terrain, and now you're understanding what makes them make this stuff. And because you are in their land, it just hits you a bit differently. So I definitely I definitely agree with you on that. Like, going somewhere can change your view on that place's music, even though you didn't like it.
Yeah, that also happened to me with Detroit. I mean, I already loved hip hop from Detroit, but being in Detroit, and I spent a lot of time in Detroit, being there really gave me a new understanding of why the music is the way it is.
Back to our South African artists, man. Like, guys also need to get out there and travel, bro.
Please.
You guys need to get out there and travel, bro. Like, for real. And like, for real.
Yeah. All right. So we want to play just a little game with you.
Yep.
Just before we say thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, see exactly where your hip hop knowledge is sitting.
Wow.
Whether you really whether you can really claim the seat that you're in right now.
One thing I can tell you, you're the hip hop, but you hip hop, but dog. Understand?
Is hip
The hip hop,
hop.
but dog.
Okay.
You're putting me on the spot.
I'm putting you on
Yeah.
the spot. That's
Oh my
exactly what we're
God.
doing
Yeah.
right now. Okay,
I'm
so
gonna make you delete the footage if this doesn't go.
no, that's not how it works. All right, so I've got a couple of rappers' names that I'm gonna mention.
Okay.
Are they SA or
No, they're international.
Okay. Are they like current or?
I can't tell you. You must tell me. And when I give you their original names, you need to give me their rap names. So I'm gonna give you
like the government.
Yes.
government ID
You're really
names.
hip-hop.
Yeah,
You got the
Okay.
government
government.
names. Yes. You gotta give me the rap name.
Okay.
Ready to go?
I
Scoop's
guess
gonna
so.
help you because he also doesn't know
yeah.
what's on my phone.
But I
Don't
also
worry.
don't even know, like, if I'm going to be helpful.
I mean, if they came out in the last like 3
Let's just get
years,
to
then
it.
I'm sure I don't
Let's
know.
just get to it.
All right, we're gonna start it off a little easy.
Okay.
Yasin Bey.
Oh,
More staff. But that's not even his government name.
I mean, we'll give it to him
Dante
because
Smith
Sure.
is his government.
okay. Victor Santiago Jr.
Is that...
has he been to SA,
Is
that
it
one?
Vic Mensa?
I'll give you a clue.
No.
He has a very popular podcast.
Very popular.
Noriega.
Yeah.
Is his name Victor?
Victor!
Drink
if I
champs.
beefed with you, I'd be like, yo, Victor, shut the fuck up.
Nah, I've never heard that.
His name is Victor Santiago Jr. All right, next. Christopher George Latour Wallace.
That's Biggie.
Come on.
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay, and the last one. Ew, this name is so long. I didn't even know this was his name. Wow. Okay. Lonnie Corrant, Jaman, Shuka, Rashid, Lin.
Carmen.
Yeah.
Oh, Lonnie Lynn, let's go! Let's go, Germany! You killed that.
Shout
I mean,
out.
Carmen is also like
Yeah, he's
my
right
heart.
here. He's
so,
right here.
yeah.
All right.
Have you
so
interviewed him?
No.
Me neither. Oh, actually, I'm lying. I did.
When?
Hater. watch Turn Up and Vuzu V Entertainment. He was here for Delicious Festival. I actually posted it on my Insta.
I'm very jealous because my whole entire brand is named after Carmen songs.
Yes,
so
yes.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Next time
One
I see
day.
him, I'll holler at
Scoop
him
will
for
put you on. Please. I'm sure he doesn't even remember. Anyway, okay.
You are such a hater. Yo, it like seeps out of you.
Anyway, let's get to the next portion of the game. We gave you a card at the beginning of the show.
yes, I have
So you've got it in your pocket. Don't look at it yet. Just pull it out.
it. Okay.
So we've got 30 seconds on the
Okay.
clock. You have to explain to us what's on the card. We have to make sure we answer. Exactly. So it's 30 seconds basically.
Okay.
All right. Ready
So
to
it's
go?
like a game of charade.
Basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Can I
go
look?
get him.
All right.
Yeah.
And go.
Wait, but there's 4 things.
Yeah.
Describe
You gotta
all
explain
four.
all of them.
You're wasting time.
I don't. Okay. The city where I'm from.
Berlin, Germany, city. No, we don't
Okay.
know the city. Country, Germany. Berlin.
Yeah.
Got it.
I said the city.
Showcase.
Yeah.
Okay. The city where all the Germans go in SA.
Cape Town.
Johannesburg?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Well, the time's up anyway.
Let me see.
Is it A. Reese? Who's
Oh,
A.
A. Reese is a big time artist from SA. He
Yeah.
raps very well.
Okay. I don't know that person.
Yeah, you must check him out.
You need to check him
You
out.
must check him out. And then Pro Kid is one of our pillars of vernacular hip hop in this country. He's one of the, not the only one, but when hip hop was very, very USA-ish, he came through and he started rapping in not Sotho, Zulu mostly, but vernacular a lot. But it have the punchlines. Instead of having punchlines and similes that were very American driven, he came in with izinto that spoke to us.
Yeah.
And he passed away like a couple of years back, but he was a very big deal. Also one of the first few guys to get an endorsement deal. He had a billboard by the airport, drove a Beamer drop top off of that vernacular language.
Yeah.
Like shout out
One
to
of the
that man.
first to put hip hop on that commercial map. So shout out
Oh,
to
rest
Pro
in
Kid.
peace.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us, Wanya.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
It was a
Vanya.
pleasure.
Vanya.
yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Vanya.
Vanya Langa.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.